Importance of having your vehicles represented and sold at auction. That's a good one. I mean, it's very difficult. I know you rep your cars at auction, and probably the same way with GSA around the country, you have physical representation.
Right.
Not so easy for a lot of companies, the larger leasing companies. I don't think you guys have representation at auction, do you?
Not all of them.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you have a good relationship with the auction network that you use, you're okay. I've always been, we try to stay away from auctions whenever possible because we think we can save money not doing it. I was at my friend had a 3-year red carpet Ford lease, it was an Explorer, and he wanted to buy it in the lease. And I said, oh, no problem, we just have to follow it to the auction and I'll buy it for you. So we went there, and in the auction world, the auctioneer will get up here and have kind of high money, and not having true money, and then work his way down, maybe start at 15 grand, work his way down to 10,000 or wherever he gets true money, and start building back up until they get the most that he can get. But that car, when his car went across the block, I was there. And I'm never one to raise my hand first. I want to wait till it gets down there to real money. And it took about 15 seconds, and the auctioneer dropped a hammer to somebody else. So my friend Dick says, well, how much did we pay? I said, we didn't get it. He says, what do you mean we didn't get it? I said, the guy just dropped the hammer too early. So, was that absentee representation, or is that really representative of what the auction do? Probably not, but that day, that car, it was. So, yeah. I mean, and I think, and there are a lot of great auctions out there. I just think you need to be important to them, and you can see that with the different companies. They'll be mainly Mannheim or Odessa or whatever, and I think if you have good relationships, you stay away from that, but I think it's something that you have to consider that might happen. I think if you have representation at the auction by one of your folks, then you can sell a large percentage of those cars outside, off the block after the sale. If you don't really have that advantage, or you leave it up to the fleet lease manager at the auction that represents you. But after the sale, there's a lot of dealers with open money or open to buy money that maybe need to put 2 more cars on there to make a truckload. So I think if you physically have people at that auction, there's quite an advantage. But it's just tough. It's just tough to fly people around the country, and a lot of larger leasing companies will have a GE day or PHH day or whatever, and they'll hold their cars, and I've always wondered about that too, because when you get to that September, October, November, when it drops, it doesn't drop the next month. It could drop the next day. And it's the same way on a spring market, it can come up the next day. That's why we hold cars in the first quarter. So I think it's just something to be aware of. Now we're at benchmarking. Again, I think that you really have to drill down and just see what type of fleet you have, and if you've got a 200,000 mile cargo fleet, you maybe have to benchmark off Ritchie Brothers or that type of thing. There's a lot of publications out there, a lot of information out there, that I don't think you can use a generic MMR just because of what I said before. It just doesn't drill down far enough to, and it doesn't really, even in the upper end world, if there could be 5 Lexus on there, but it doesn't let you know if there was a navigation system or if there were certain other very valuable parts of equipment there. So you just need to find something that fits your portfolio to make an intelligent decision. Did I get fair money?
Ron, you bring up a good point. One of the things that we did with some of our rental fleet, where we saw a big response from the dealers on vehicles that were going to the rental car companies, especially on minivans, for example, is we put DVD players in them.
Mm-hmm.
And the DVD player, I think it was a $900 ad, but it brought $1,500
Yeah.
at the auction, because
Yeah.
there's certain things, and I know it's difficult, we sometimes will have that conversation with a customer of, are there any added items that you could put on the vehicle that, when those vehicles go to auction, they might bring a little bit more.
Yeah.
Those are, there are always things to look at. On trucks, it's difficult. A lot of people buy it, just let me have that regular, the bean can, we call, you know, or I call it a bean can work truck.
Right.
You know, a little bit more if there's an iPod jack, or if there's something telematics wise that can be added to the vehicle, that it's good for the driver, but ultimately it'll bring more value
Yeah.
at the auction. I mean, there's always, if there's ways to find out what.
If there's ways to
auction
find out
does.
that information, it's too
Yeah.
bad you can't have it that as part of the VIN decoder, but you'd have to probably have a VIN about that long, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's tremendous difference. We've got a navigation system or DVDs or rear air and different things like
We do
that.
hands-free phones and the systems, and when you look at the generations, like baby boomers, but the ones that are moving on up, and the Xers and the Yers, they were born with telematics, you
Right,
know?
right.
So if you're
Well-
marketing to them, they might be really interested in those kind of.
Well, a lot of states are starting to make it mandatory for hands-free. So, for example, and just because I did one recently, you're talking about a Ford Fusion. I mean, it's, you know, unlike in a BMW, it's, you know, $2,000-3,000 to add navigation, all that other stuff. In Ford Fusion, it's between $400 and $500 for that. In
So-
most states now, and I can see it coming 3-4 years from now when you're turning these cars in, it's gonna be required.
It's true.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, to spend that now, you're gonna definitely get it back. I
Yeah.
would only caution as far as things like, you know, if you have to pay separate for navigation or something like that, the problem with navigation is you're getting into those technologies that get outdated. So that have to have updates and so on and so forth. So that would be my only concern as far as getting into something like navigation. But if that's included with the hands-free and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
the Bluetooth technology and whatnot, you'll definitely get your money back.
Yeah.
Are you starting to see a switch where I think in the past, you know, the navigation, DVD players, or the wheels, whatever, add value? I'm not so sure all the stuff you can't see really adds a lot of value. I know there's maybe the airbags are now standard on a lot of things,
Right.
but you know, if you put airbags on a vehicle, you may not get that money out. Or if you have an OnStar or an XM or something like that, something associated with fees, you may not get that.
Yeah, and I think with the emergence in the, you know, fastest growing part of our business is subprime. And that's really a payment situation. It's really got nothing to do with equipment or anything else. It's what can I afford, and what will the bank or, you know, credit union or whatever fund on this unit. I remember I used to sell cars to a Chevy dealer in Columbus that used CAC, and they would have a call in, you know, if you need special finance, call Betty. So when Betty, hey Betty, line one, Betty, there wasn't a Betty. It was just, hey, this is a special finance customer here. and the you know, I want to buy this car. That's great. This is a car you want to buy. This is a car that you can afford. So, so if you start adding all the equipment and everything, sometimes it takes that out of the possibility of being able to get that done.
Ron, when you're, really good point as far as the subprime market, when you're dealing with those, that particular market, they're also the ones that, yes, they're looking at that payment, but they're also looking for all the bells and whistles. So they're the ones that are gonna look at regardless, you know, okay, if I,
75, 80,000 miles. You know, well, that kind of cross-reference a couple things. There's no benchmark guide on that. I don't care what you look at. You're not going to find that car. You can't put a number on that car. You just got to probably back it up in a year, 2 years, and say, what's a '09 with 80,000 miles worth? It's worth about the same. But on the flip side of that is on the subprime, when they're using NADA and loan values to, you know, to benchmark what they'll loan, the fleet lease car is it's an awesome buy. If you buy a 75,000, 80,000 mile 2010 and you're just going to drive it 10,000 miles a year, I think you get out in 3 years. I think you can drive the car free.
Well, one of the big advantages, if you're buying our stuff, is that it's a 5-year, 100 powertrain. So
Yeah.
you got that peace of mind. If you're buying an 80,000 mile car for 20,000 miles, any of the big chunks, you're not gonna have a problem with it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. That's really helped also is the, you know, 100,000 mile warranties and.
I just want to know the Betty person you're referring to. Is that like Peggy?
No, this is Peggy. Just about. Just about. This is the craziest thing though. Is Betty there? Yeah, Betty. Well, Betty's not here today, but I can help you.